Hello everyone, welcome back to Chaosville here with Bedmon Incorporated. Our main job for the day is to set up a industrial blast furnace so that we can start smelting some of the ludicrous volumes of titanium that the bees have been producing. I think we have like 141 titanium dusts at the moment. So I don't know. I don't know if we can make armor. I might need to look up if we can make armor out of the stuff, because that's quite useful. And then once that's done, we're going to go over some of the things that I need to tweak around the rest of Monroeville. And I had some plans to go hunting witches. Don't know how long that'll take to get done. Might happen in this episode. Not sure. We'll see. With that in mind then, hop into my vision and we'll take a look. So, I believe I've left all of the titanium over at... Yes, I have. I've left all the titanium over at the bees lab. But I've already put in a few patterns into the into Newton's database here. So if I can just find it, yeah, here we are, the standard machine casings and the reinforced machine casings, which require steel, as well as advanced circuits, machine blocks, all this jazz. There's a few of those things that we can get from the bees later on, but for now we're just using our own homegrown supplies. And I do not happen to have my industrial blast furnace block. Yeah, you may notice I'm missing one or two things in my inventory, because you've probably seen it a few times. Over off to the left here, I happen to have, when I'm in cheat mode, I have the list of inventories. One of those is for when I'm setting up to do a tutorial. I have the clear inventory button. I accidentally hit that while I was doing some stuff, so I've had to rebuild half of what I've got. One or two things I may or may not have cheated back in, but I'm going to, just to save us some time, I'm going to quickly switch to cheat mode and grab the industrial blast furnace block that you saw me creating. So, there shouldn't be too much issue there. And there it is. Doop. Out. Done. And away they go. All safe and happy. Now, to use this, we first need some medium voltage, which is what this is. This is a medium voltage transformer for industrial craft. I could just hook it straight up to the MFE over there, but then I have to move all of this, and I'm not quite ready to do that, so here it goes. Now it usually will display a green light here if it's actually set up, but it isn't because it needs this casing. Now the way that this works is that you can use standard casing, reinforced casing, and I think it's advanced casing. Let's just have a quick search for it. Yeah, advanced machine casing. And these are all progressively more expensive. And I've also got 2 buckets of lava here. Those red dots that you see in there can be lava, and it will increase the heat. And that's basically what the difference is here between using all of these different casings, is that if you're using all advanced machine casing, you have a much higher heat tolerance than the standard machine casing. And the higher the temperature, the more things you can cook in it. Because it means there's a few things, there's a bunch of things really that you can cook in these, but they all require different heat temperatures. Titanium is thankfully one of the ones that you can do with a fairly basic level. I can never tell when the sun's gone down. Usually you can go to sleep as soon as the sun dips below the horizon, but because I'm used to it being cubic, I'm actually not sure when that is right now. Yep. And there are 2 empty holes inside of the casings for this, so you can have it full of lava, which increases the heat. So search casing here. Let's see how much reinforced we can get. Let's try for 18, because that'll be the top and the bottom. And what, if anything, are we missing? We're missing steel. That figures. Can't manufacture steel. Well, I can, but it'll take absolute yonks. So let's go with the standard casing. Oh, was that the reinforced I just hit again? Yes, it was. Silly me. Standard casing. Let's see. It's 2 blocks in the middle, so it's basically like the standard blast furnace. 9, 18 plus 16 is 34. It's going to take 34 standard casings. Well, 34 casings in general, really. So, 34. Begin! Okay, and all of our furnaces are running. And it's making the machine blocks, then it's going to need some copper to make some copper cables to make electronic circuits. I could switch that over to electrum. There are bees that produce electrum, and that's used in a few other recipes as like bonus material, so you can get 2 electronic circuits from using it. Refined iron and refined iron dregs from our plate maker. So let me just see if I can find it. Doesn't appear to be there. I'll get it from there. Assembling machine with a Gregtech sensor card. Insert into display panel. Copper cable and a basic circuit board. How do you make that exactly? Refined iron and 2 electrum. Huh. Get you 2 of them. So yeah, that's I guess how we're doing it now. Evidently I don't have a texture for the basic circuit board. Little bit of a pain. Aluminium as well, so you can just replace the whole of them. I've got a bit of aluminum built up inside of the flab as well, the flab stores. So, casing. We have 4 casings so far. Let's put those down. No sense wasting time on that. Okay, so yeah, you can just see this back piece, which is what it connects to. Yup. Casing. Still waiting on that. We're missing an ingredient. Now we're just making refined iron again. Down to 30 of these. So it's been really hot here lately. I'd say it's been hot. It's been hot for everyone else. As is the standard case, I've been pretty much fine with how things have been, but for some reason, everyone else is dying of heat exposure. Aluminium refined iron. Interesting, so you can replace those. And then you've got machine frame, bronze machine hull, all that stuff going through there. And there's aluminium, so I could save myself some iron if I want to use the aluminium coming from the bees. That's the only ways to make those. But you do get the 4 either way, so that's something. So let's see, 34 over 4, 17, roughly 9 instances, I think. 9 craftings, which is actually fairly cheap, all things considered. Making some resin by cooking some slime balls, something you can do, which is handy. Although we can then just hook it up to the resinous bees later on. I've made a lot of bees recently. I've just finished making the lustrous bees, which produce the invar combs, which is going to allow us to use the bees themselves to expand the number of magmatic engines inside the main system there. But still fairly slow. One thing that is in need of being tweaked at Flab actually is I don't think the bee. I have 3 exotic bees at the moment that are superized, as super as I can get them anyway, and they're not producing exotic combs fast enough to produce enough silk wisps to feed the production of the impregnated frames that the whole thing runs on, which is kind of a problem, because if it can't produce the impregnated frames fast enough, then the exotic bees slow down further because they're not getting frames, so they're not producing as quickly. Consequently, it all just kind of snowballs, which is a little bit problematic. Down to 26 now. A little bit more there, so I presume it's onto the circuit. Yeah, it's onto the circuit now. Looking to make all that. And the iron is holding steady because it's getting remade by the from the gold, which is in turn getting remade from diamonds, which I have quite a few of in here, I think. Diamondes, 80, as well as a diamond axe, a diamond handsaw, 24 diamond shards, a diamond sickle, and a diamond transport pipe, which I haven't used for much more than the Apris pipes recently. Yep. Okay, we appear to be after rubber. Compressor, macerator, extractor, there we go. Because there's the resin, which will produce 3. Doop. There's the compressor. We're not using the macerator at the moment, so let's stick... Nope, there. Speed things up a little bit. And we're looking to make some refined iron over here. Yep. I love this whole part of Applied Energy Sticks. I'm just running around looking at things as they turn on, and it's all going through the whole... works and processes by itself. It's wonderful to see. Maybe we should have made these before I started filming, shouldn't I? Jeez. Now, one interesting thing about the blast furnace is you see this pattern, like just around here, of what it's actually needing for its actual framing, its casing. Once you have that, it's not specific to one particular blast furnace. The blast furnace is just checking to see if it's there. It doesn't actually do anything to it. So consequently, you can have one on all four sides of that. So you can have 4 industrial blast furnaces around the same casing at no extra cost. Well, except for the cost of building them. As we've seen, they're a little on the pricey side. 103 over there. And we're working on the resin. Still at 26. Oh yes, you may notice that there's a bit of a pattern over here. I tried to do a time-lapse of me going around and working out this main sort of interior space. This area here is the main walkway. Over this way, I believe, is the ice rink, and over here is the first little major department store that I finished up laying out, which is MC Penny's. Of course, it's JC Penny's in the actual place, but I believe that's a copyright term, and I don't want to get sued by anyone. So I had Remember Cam up in the air, overlooking as much of the area as he could, which is not saying much because the mall is still pretty damn huge. And I just went around. I actually had to manufacture some dirt. That's how much dirt it took me to make this thing. I ran around just setting up all of these little pathways and such to mark out where the different areas are broken up. We then have like different striations into it to just differentiate the different stores, but this is just the basic immediate thing. So you'd be wandering around here and you'd see there's, I think there is some escalators over that way as well as over this way. Down here is... No, here, at both ends here are 2 more major department stores. They're called anchor stores. It's an interesting little piece of shopping mall terminology, but they're usually built around about 1 or more major stores. In the case of the Monrovia Mall, I believe one of the anchor stores is JCPenney's, and there's a couple more. But here we'll be simulating or replicating a few of those stores, but most of them will have open to different players to use for whatever they wish. So how are we doing now? Down to 22. Casing. What I'm going to do is I'm going to tell this to export. So that way I don't need to keep running over there. And since we have 4, let's get the first of our lava sources in. Okay, there we go. 23? That's interesting. Why is that going to there? Is it already output 1 or something? No. That's odd. Wonder why it says 23 instead of 22. Strangeness. So why are we getting the titanium? Well, we're getting the titanium because, due to GregTech's meddling, it is a component for the rock cutter. And the rock cutter, as you can see there, has Silk Touch 3, which means you can use it to pick up ores and whatnot that you normally wouldn't be able to get, sort of like redstone, for example, and like quartz, which we need in massive spades. But you need titanium gregs to make it, as well as some diamond dust, but that we can get fairly easily. And the titanium itself is fairly straightforward, but you need to have the titanium. In order to make the titanium, you actually have to have it inside of a industrial blast furnace. Just by itself, 1 piece of dust makes 1 ingot, requires 128,000 EU and almost a minute of time per, but has a heat capacity of 1,500. That's the important part there. That's actually fairly low as far as the industrial blast furnaces go. But I kind of want this to improve the rate at which I can get different stuff. So what else do we use the titanium for? We can pulverize it into the dust. Not that we would, because that's expensive. Use it to make a lot of standard rail, a lot of rebar and whatnot. We could actually use it to speed up the production of concrete for our foundation laying, but that seems a little bit excessive for me. Let's see, we can use it to make, for some reason, purple metal posts. I presume it's to do with the color. You can use it to make pistons, but that would be tremendously wasteful. A diamond jackhammer. Might be handy, but we don't really do that much digging underground. The block of titanium, which mobs can't spawn on. That's handy. Shapeless crafting, titanium nuggets. And looks like we're more or less at the end of things there. So you can't make armor out of it, or swords, which is a bit of a pity, because you can make steel out of it, which is... You can use steel to make that kind of stuff, but that's kind of a... That's sort of the step behind titanium, I guess. How we doing? Hey, just in time. Doop, 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 doop. Ha! Right, well I can't really leave the area because this isn't chunk loaded. So if I leave, Newton is going to shut off, and when the chunk reloads, he's going to lose all of the things he was presently thinking he was making, which is a little bit of a problem. But I will pause for the moment, and I will come back when this is finished up. So, back in a moment. And welcome back. So here we have the nearly completed industrial blast furnace casing. I don't know why I keep blanking on that name. I have the last couple of pieces left. These only come in 4s, so I had to have a little excess, but maybe we can use that later. So if I just insert these, the lovely connected texture is working. Green light. So this now functions. So let's head on over to Flab, and we shall see about... Thank you for giving us a hand, Mr. Sky. Out. Thank you. Let's head over to Flab, and we shall pick up our titanium dust, and we can also take a look at what's going on over there. Let's take the book. That'll be faster. Boop. Yep, all the nice faces coming in. Although I must say the skeletons look pretty damn demonic in this texture pack. Let's see, Flab, because I'm basically just occupying this section of the library. Okay, so not much has changed. I've expanded the number of alvearies that was over here, and I keep occasionally getting those dumped out. I don't know why that happens, because I know it's not because the system's getting backed up, because it's always empty, so I don't know. It's very strange. Take a look at dusts. Let's see, we've got 11 aluminium, Invar, free, 11 sodalite, 78 tiny piles of aluminium. That goes crazy quickly. 75 tiny piles of Invar, 80 sodalite there. Haven't got any more titanium because I took the impregnable bees out. Let's just compact a bit of that. Yeah, it's making frames. How much does it have? Yeah, it's going out quite nicely there. Has a bit of a backlog from things, so that's good. Doop. And the sodalite. Doop. Yeah, it takes 4 of the tiny piles to make a full dust. There we go. So we have 31 aluminium, 22 Invar, and 31 sodalite. Invar is the annoying one that requires that we mix ferrous in. So that's the problem. Let's see. Titanium, aluminium, sodalite, Invar, and aluminium there. And we have over 2 stacks of titanium dust. Oh boy. And eventually we'll get back to making the blare detector to have those all turn on when we want them, when we actually want them. But I also kind of want to tweak the way that this tree farm over here works, because it pretty much goes on every single time that the stock of wood drops below 500 or so. And I'd like it to actually like stop working after it passes that point, and then turn on when it drops below a critical level, so that it's not just always turning on like that. It saves us a bit more power. This, of course, needs more engines, because we are still running pretty low on the powers over here. See, that's empty. That is draining. That is draining as well. I have 7 on for some reason. And these aren't really doing much of anything either, so we kind of need to beef up the power supply a little more. I also did a bit of reworking over here with these alvearies regarding frames. You can see here in the engine system we've got the original method, which is the standalone alveary system. Very nice. But I decided that I was using way too many ender chests over here, and in fact it may have caused the server a bit of lag. So under here I've placed disk drives from Computercraft, and from there I'm using more or less the same setup that we previously had. So we've got one that's inserting and one that's pulling out of the ender chests to apply all of the stuff again. into all of these alvearies via just the 2 routers, which saves us a lot of the router filters, although I now have a bit of a backlog of those. So, oh well. Yeah, there's the 4 upgraders. Oh, and I need to put myself back into Do Not Disturb for Skype. My internet connection is fairly stable now, which is good. Let's see, we moved the router, and I had words with Virgin Media. Apparently there was a fault on the line that goes to us, so our internet was being very, very unstable. But that seems to be fixed now. I haven't had problems with it since. Okay, and here we are. Oh, and that was a mistake on my part. There's a bug, sort of, with Greg Tech devices that if you don't see their actual display on them and you click on them, you crash. Because they're basically all one block and they're trying to load what's happening. So back in a quick moment while I sort this out. Okay, and we're back. So now we actually have the proper screen, and now it is safe to touch these. So let's stick our titanium dust in there, and it's moving along fairly slowly, but there we go. We have a heat capacity of 1520, so standard casings, the default casings, the basic casings, which use just iron and a lot of iron, have 1520. But there is a slight problem we have here, which is insufficient energy line. This is the next thing, which is the way that this works is that if you have if you're using what I've got right here, which is the transformer, the double transformer section, then you get slight drains on the system, and unfortunately, rather unlike the way that the standard blast furnace works, Greg Tech requires that most of their machines have a constant supply of energy, and if you don't have that, it cuts out everything else immediately. But we can fix that rather straightforwardly by creating an MFE. See if I remember how to make these things. Jeez. Doop, doop. Energy crystal, gold cable, machine block. Yep. We can plug that together quite happily. Now these are used for making the honey crystals, but as I found out, those aren't actually really worth the trouble it takes to get to them. But they also come from the ecstatic bees, which are the top ones that make redstone. Gold cabling. And I need some rubber. Resin. Slime. Tree tap. Oh, these haven't actually regenerated yet. That's a bit of a problem. Let's see, we could steal the MFE from behind here, but we'd lose all the power in it. Well, I guess we've hit the point where I kind of need to start moving things around. That's an electrolyzer, not a centrifuge, so I can't just take the magma cream out. What is the salamander slime used for, exactly? What is this used for? Used for making sticky pistons, spear of fire, for which for some reason requires an ender chest. Used for making magma cream, which I could then centrifuge to get sticky to get slime balls. That's a pain. Okay. Should have the redstone for what else I need to do, though. And we definitely have the diamonds. Doop, doop. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Get rid of all that. And I'll just dump some power into this, I guess. But we need the gold cable, which is a bit of a pain. I don't know if I'm using that anywhere. Twice insulated gold cable. Oh, and it's night. Let's move. Quickly fix that. Where are there a lot of slimes? The surface after dawn, usually. But where else? Where else can I get some slime? Actually, I believe at God's house is still around. And I believe he has some rubber trees just outside of that. There he is. I don't actually know how long it's been since AdGod was on the server. Oh, no, it's night anyway. Yes, here we are. Okay. He is assuredly not going to notice this. Hello, dog. Hello, strange wall dog. Doop, doop, doop. I suppose that's a Brundle fly experiment. The wall dog. Actually, there was a dog in the Fly movies at one point, or what was left of a dog. But that's probably a story for another time. A story for another build, perhaps, when I build my teleportation experiment and all things go horribly wrong. Is that all? Nope, because it's just regenerated. Did someone try to break in through here? That's interesting. Boop. I've just realized I don't actually have any sound. That's interesting. And let me just fix that. That will be from when I was doing the intro, because I turn off the sound from Remember Cam so that I don't get the sounds of Monroeville twice. Alright, there we go. Okay, so now we have our sticky resin, so we can make our wire, so we can make our MFEs, and then we'll just steal some of the... There's an Enderman over there. Steal some of the solar panels from behind here, and then grab that. Well, actually, I don't have that on record. That's interesting. Okay, and I put the overclock into here. Good. So rubber is gonna quickly come in. Yep, that's free. Do. And I need the golds that was here. That's 2 times. That is what I need, I believe. 2, 3. I need a bit more than that. Rubber. There you are. Good. Got it. Thank you. You can go now. That there, that there, that there, that there, and that there. Gets us a second MFE, and inside of here I have a electric wrench, which we shall just quickly recharge on this MFE, which is actually running low on power. That's interesting. So we'll call it there. And grab a couple of these. We can also pick that up, since we don't need that anymore. And let's see, we point the MFE directly into what we're going to try and power. Do there. And this is still getting insufficient energy. Well, I guess that's my project for the next episode. Otherwise, I shall catch you next time. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to leave a like and or favorite. Follow me on Twitter and subscribe to be notified of future updates. You can also check out the website where most other content is uploaded. That's all for now. Catch you later.